And I wake in the morning and I step outside.
And deep breath and I get real high. What's going on?
So how has your break from weed been?
Fine. Because I got this.
You know, it looks. You know what that looks like.
A little pocket rocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
helps your BMs.
Yeah. Hey, have you made today?
Have you had one today?
Hey, did you make BM?
Did you have a quiver?
A quiver. I had a quiver and let out a sliver.
Oh. It blows my mind how you chug those milky coffee drinks.
So good. I already had a cold brew. I'm about to have I got a mocha one lined up after this.
All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of I Didn't See It, But I Believe You. I'm Doug.
I'm Joel, and this is episode 125.
Yeah, and I guess this is like the first I've talked today because I'm all so my apologies.
Same.
All right, dude. What's the longest? I'm dead serious. You know, like when I'm around people and stuff, like, well, when I was younger, real talkative, real charismatic. Mm-hmm. Now that I'm older, I feel like I don't, unless I'm like talking to you or, you know, I'm not like talking too much. What the fuck am I trying to say? Essentially, what I'm trying to say is, what's the longest you ever gone without talking? And there's a reason for this.
I mean, there were definitely days at work where they would throw me on like inventory and you have to scan everything in the store. And I would, because you don't have to work with customers at that point. They're putting you out to do like, so I would zone out and spend like 5-6 hours not talking to anybody. But then you go on lunch and it's like, I got all this shit I got to get out. I still have a really hard time when I'm around people not talking. I'm by myself. I don't fucking say anything, but.
No, that's kind of what I mean. Like okay, like it could be any reason for it. It doesn't have to be particular like at work or anything. Hold on. Get the sniffles. But anyways, so like when I lived in that trailer, like sometimes I got my schedule down, so I was working 4 days a week, and like sometimes I'd just take those 3 days and just stay in my trailer and just do stuff in there.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That's like on the third day, I would have to be like, hey, like just say something out loud because I would go 3 days without saying a single word.
Oh yeah, totally.
And apparently, like for like people that are pretty charismatic and extrovert, I guess is what you're saying. That's actually quite common. Like when you're by yourself, like you just don't speak at all. Like don't even make noises.
Is that not common for people? For other people? Like, do people sit at home and fucking talk to themselves?
No, not necessarily talk to yourself, like singing songs, you know what I mean? Or like,
sure.
You know, like
whereas we kind of just shut off, like
complete silence.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? Like not like, huh, or even like, or this winter the moon singing in the shower is just silence.
Yeah, dude. I mean, so probably every morning for me, from when I wake up till Caroline gets up, unless I talk to you, I'm just running errands. Like, go to the store, go to this store, go to that store. And I don't talk to anybody because everything's self-checkout and shit.
You walk into the store, the clerk's like, how you doing? You're like, read between the lines, fucker.
Well, I used to always go like this if I didn't want to say anything. And then I did that to a Chinese lady at work and everybody was like, oh, fucking da 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 da. And I was like, motherfucker, I do that to everybody.
Chinese? What does that matter?
Because I guess somebody at work hadn't seen me do it before. And so when I was talking to this Chinese lady, she said thanks. I was like, no problem. But I went like that and they're like, you just fucking bowed to the Chinese lady.
But you're raised Christian. This is like the most Christian thing ever.
I think it was taken as like me trying to be like culturally sensitive, but it came off as culturally insensitive. But in reality, I was just doing the Bill Murray fucking like, thank you.
Yeah, a contextual misunderstanding.
Yeah, totally. Like when I asked the Tourette's girl if I could pet her dog. Just a big misunderstanding.
Oh shit! I fucking love that story.
Yeah, actually, I don't have a dog. I have Tourette's. Shit.
You know that Tourette's apparently it's a stereotype to cussing.
Yeah. I actually found that out back when MTV did that thing. Remember when they had that True Life I Have Tourette's?
Yeah. And
Like
apparently, go ahead.
3 of the people on that, or 2 of the people didn't have the cussing thing. But then one of them did, and their grandma took her to Disneyland with all her friends, and she's on the teacup going, "Fuck you, grandma! Suck my dick, grandma!"
Well, it's just apparently it comes from a place of frustration.
Yeah, because they're ticks, they're out of control.
Totally understandable. There's there's this Tourette's episode of Australian 60 Minutes. Well, I don't know why the Australian 60 Minutes is so up on my feed.
No, we watched this together.
Yes.
Australian 60 Minutes is on everyone's feed for some reason.
And it slaps hard. Like they just, yeah, right over there, dude.
Yeah, I got that coffee hitting weird.
So like that we talked about before, but this chick, her poor her, most certainly, because that sucks that she has to suffer through all that. But her boyfriend, her boyfriend sitting on her lap or something like that? And she's like, "I love you, babe." She's just like
slapping this dog shit out of him.
Slaps the living dog shit out of him. He's just like
hitting the mom. Isn't that the one where she's hitting her mom too?
Like his eye shuts, and he's like, "I love you too."
I feel so bad for him, dude. I got this. Actually, and we can kind of sort of bring this up, although I don't really.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm gonna go on a limb and say that these people are faking or whatever. But me and you have been talking about the rise of disability TikTok, and a lot of people have been bringing that up. It's one of those really weird things. If you don't know what it is, there's a huge subculture on TikTok where people talk about and show their mental illnesses. I am positive that some of it's real, and I'm positive that a lot of it's fake.
Yeah.
I believe probably there's a middle ground of people who have something and they've never been diagnosed, but they fucking kind of lean into these stereotypes or whatever. But that being said,
a lot of yes. I'm sorry to take this away from you, but yeah, there's obviously some pretty serious disabilities that people are using these social media platforms as a positive way to show the world, like, you know, we're just like everybody else, and this is just how we live. You know, just of course. But then there are some. You said it right. It's just undiagnosed. It's kind of self-diagnosis.
Yeah, and they're leaning into stereotypes.
Yes, and it's like, all right, take it easy.
It's very clear who has, in my opinion, as someone who has spent a lot of time talking to doctors and psychiatrists and psychologists about shit like that, it is very fucking clear to me who's actually talked to somebody and who's just watched a lot of TV.
Yeah. It goes so obvious. You and I both are pretty open about our childhoods all the way into our late teen years, like having to deal with like these with ailments and stuff, particularly ADHD.
Yeah.
You know,
which some of these kids, I'm not sure they know what ADHD actually is. I think a lot of them think it's fucking those little squirrels from over the hedge whenever they drink the caffeine and they go real fast, everything else goes slow. Yeah. That ain't what it is, dudes. I just don't fucking care what you're saying half the time. That's ADHD, bro.
No, well, I mean, there's all kinds.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. A lot of that shit. I'm like, bro, that's. I don't know. Yeah, also, massive difference between ADD and ADHD, which just gets completely ignored these days.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I remember being told I had ADHD when I was a kid, after like these crazy tests and everything, and I remember like getting put on the medication, and they kept on giving it to me, and I would just refuse to take those pills, dude. I hated the way they made me feel. Hated it. I had one. It was called Strattera. It made
I know Strattera.
Made my wiener not work. Did I ever tell you about this?
No.
I would be so wanting it to work, if you know what I mean. And it wouldn't. It was like one of the worst experiences of my young life.
I know a dude. He's dead, but I still don't want to throw him on Front Street. But I knew a dude who had basically been diagnosed with all that same stuff as us. He was quite a bit older than us by about a decade, but had caught the tail end of all that starting when he was like leaving high school. Right. Yeah. And so they prescribed him what was essentially Adderall at the time, although it had a different name. It was amphetamine salts, and it messed his wiener up forever.
Oh yeah.
Forever. He told us one time when he was super drunk, he was like, God damn it, I just got to watch a lot of pornography. My wiener just don't work. But anyway, I digress.
No, yeah, and like that's why I never took the hair pills and stuff like that. Is like,
well, dude, even in the commercials for those, they're like, you ain't gonna get a boner, bro.
Do you want hair, or do you want your dinghy to stop? Do you want hair or your dinghy to work? I'm like, well, I like both. Like, you only have one.
Gotta pick one or the other, bro.
My wiener over.
Yeah, dude. Your Lance Armstrong or your Lance Longarm. You know what I mean? Like, which one do you want?
Lance, what? He wasn't. Does he suffer from ED?
No, I was saying. Oh, I thought it was a joke, man. I don't really know where I was going with it now. I thought it was clever. Maybe it wasn't.
Lance,
did you not say something about fucking
a testicle removal?
Man, I don't know where I went with that. Yeah, all of that just to say though, yo, that like there is one girl on TikTok who I have a TikTok for when Caroline posts shit, I'll go watch it, but I don't have a TikTok. You know what I mean? But yeah. I watch them all on Reels. We've talked about that before too. Reels on Instagram. It's just TikTok. Yeah. So I got this girl that I follow, and dude, I don't know, like, if you've got any people that you follow that you don't know them, you're never gonna know them, but you care about them. You care for their journey. You know what I mean? Sure. For me, it's that train kid, Francis Bourgeois. I just love him and his trains, and I wish him the best. But
I can't figure him out.
He's just loves trains, bro. That's all there is to it. But Evie. This girl named Evie or Evie, I believe it's Evie though. She's got Tourette's, and she has like a journey TikTok or whatever about her journey through it. But she definitely really has Tourette's, and dude, her videos are fucking fascinating. And she's like the English? Yeah.
And she's like really cute and does
really spunky.
It's just like spunky. She does gymnastics
and like cooking videos and shit where she tries to show her what?
Like she's like real flexible. She's like a gymnast.
Oh no, I don't know, not her. This girl, sometimes her hands lock up and she has to wear things on her hands.
It's the bangs and the hair.
Yeah, Evie.
Yeah, her. Yeah,
she's great, dude. I've been following the shit out of her.
She does. She's a gymnast.
That's crazy.
Or like not a gymnast, like an acrobatic. She's like she does all those crazy like a contortionist maybe. Yeah, she does all kinds of stuff, dude. And she's really talented.
Yeah, I started watching her because she posted this video where one of her tics was her at a restaurant. She basically turned into Chucky at this restaurant, and she was so fucking pissed off about it because she's trying to eat, and she's going, "Hi, I'm Chucky. Hi, I'm Chucky." And then she fucking turns and looks at this
bald guy,
and she goes, "Bald."
And he definitely hurt her.
Oh yeah, dude, you 100% know what I'm talking about. Yeah, she's great, man. I follow the shit out of her. But yeah, and then Francis Bourgeois, I'm assuming, is a case of high functioning autism where his whatever trigger or whatever is trains, because it's.
I mean, but that's like, what, does he talk about that, or are you just assuming?
Well, no, I mean he's Doug.
Yes,
that kid definitely has autism.
You
definitely.
think so?
100% and not to mention, like, this is not a knock on anything like that, but dude, trains are a pretty fucking typical path for neurodivergent people to choose. Trains, they love trains.
Okay.
Also, shout out to Francis for literally, I've never seen this happen before. You know his camera where he changes the camera, and
that's why I don't know. That's why I don't know if it's like if it's legitimate or not because of that.
It's legit. He wants to show you how excited he is. But that's low key caught on, so everyone knows who Francis is, but no one really talks about it as Francis Bourgeois. But I was watching a video about the new Grand Theft Auto game like 2 days ago, and there was this weird moment where the game glitched out and you'd be riding a motorcycle and the camera would be above your head facing you. And almost every comment on it was like, damn, thought this was a Francis video for a second. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, dude, it's so crazy to me.
It really is charming. No matter what situation is, he's charming. I really enjoy watching his videos. But like, imagine him watching this.
I'm not fucking autistic.
He's like,
some fucking asshole.
I like trains. What the fuck,
dick?
He's like, listen to this. He's like, Mom, they think I'm autistic. She's just like, you're not. It's like, what the fuck?
My favorite video of his, he's fucking walking and he's talking about yeah, it's late, but I just thought I'd come by and see see what train was gonna come through, and he comes around the corner. It's this little bust ass yellow fucking train. He goes, ah! Ah! He's freaking out about it. He's going, oh my god, yes, it's here. It's beautiful, isn't it? And they honk at him, and he goes, woo! He's fucking
yeah, he gets freaking pumped.
He loves that shit.
He's like, woo! He's like super like dick in my butt.
He definitely takes that fucking like, oh, ooh.
Yeah, he's just he's like, hopefully they give us some tones. Boop, 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 boop. He's like,
That's one. We standing outside, and I mean, like, it's like a fucking. He's like in the middle of goddamn nowhere, and he's waiting for. He's like fucking cornfields and shit around him, and he's got the camera on his head, and it's like fucking bouncing. He's talking about, oh, it's coming, and all of a sudden, this fucking train flies by, and it honks one time, and everything like. Straight chaos. The camera's going, bah! He's fucking laughing, fucking screaming. God damn it. Fucking, yo, if you don't know what we're talking about and you're just like, what the fuck is this? Go on Instagram and search Francis Bourgeois 31.
I don't know. Dude, I remember like us jumping on trains from like downtown and like riding them to the house and jumping off.
I've got some fucking train stories about when a buddy of ours lived to the right of where my parents now live. Do you remember when we had a buddy whose mom moved out to a trailer out there and we would all gather in the front?
Yeah.
Okay. There was a train that literally came like within 5 feet of their house. Every fucking day after school, we tried to get on it. Every fucking day, dude. They would fucking start honking before they even got close to where he lived, bro. It's like,
man, when that train came through Cuero, you figure that the train conductor's ex-wife lived in that fucking town. Freaking just blaring on that goddamn horn.
I'll never understand why the fuck it. I mean, did it ever stop in Cuero? Where did it stop if it stopped there? By the pecan store?
Yeah, well, so Cuero, okay, fun history facts. So Cuero,
great for all you listeners.
Yeah. Cuero used to be, it's definitely an old school railroad town. That's why the town essentially exists. There used to be another town called Clifton that merged. It was over by
Wait, hold on. I'm going to let you finish. But were you with us when my dad told us all this at the wedding?
Yeah. You don't remember looking at him and go,
yeah.
I'm like, that's right. And your dad's like, I know. I'm like, no, that's serious. I'm like, that's pretty good, Big Glenn.
Yeah, okay,
that's true.
Continue.
Me and your dad are like having a standoff at your wedding of who knows more about the history of Cuero.
I promise I know more.
Yeah. So anyways, and so I chimed in. Of course, I couldn't like let your dad just have all that information. I'm like, you know, like Cuero used to have 32 operating bars at one time. Just like looking at me, like, yeah, now you do.
Got it.
So there used to be like, where the pecan house is. Like, anyways, it used to be an ice house, and then that's like where they would stop, and that's where the train station was a little bit farther down by the feed store or by the post offices. So yes, the train used to stop in Cuero.
Interesting. Do you remember when the serial killer, we've talked about this before, Rafael Resendez Ramirez, when he was on the loose and they were saying he was killing preachers and their families and shit?
Yeah.
By the way, I was pretty fucking scared. But they
all your friends, just all your best friends be like, yeah, here's killing preachers and families and adopted kids.
They said that day, they were like, oh, they seen him outside a movie gallery. And I was like, I don't know, bro. That seems
I remember all
suspicious.
That. Yeah.
And then they were sitting in front of Full of Pep with fucking shotguns. And I was like, oh shit, maybe they did see this motherfucker here. And then
he was around.
I know. My parents' neighborhood was nothing but crotchety old men sitting on the front porch with guns that fucking day.
I hope that motherfucker.
I've been praying for this.
I've been waiting for this day my whole fucking life.
But yeah, that night I was so scared. And that night, when the train came through, I was just thinking, oh, he's on it for sure. He's about to jump off, get on it. And then like right around that time, some animal ran through our backyard and my dogs freaked out and I lost it.
Oh,
so that
dude.
fucking train scares me.
No, dude, that train runs right by my house too. I remember just like, brr, brr. I'm like, this motherfucker right here. Here he comes again. And then all of a sudden, when the train goes past that fucking train track, just I could be. Whenever I hear a train come by, even now, I just fucking want to fall asleep. Trains put me to fucking sleep.
Could you live in a situation like the house in Seven, or I'm trying to think what a better example of that would be. You know, like, could you live in a place that was basically touching the train to where every time a train came through, your house shook?
Yeah, easily.
I don't know if I could, man. I think if it was nice enough, I'd try.
What? It's not running
like
through your house.
their apartment fucking no. I mean, I'm talking about like in the Seven house, their fucking apartment is on the train tracks. So
Yeah,
like every time the subway comes
there's
through,
apartment buildings in like old brownstone duplex apartment buildings in New York that are
right.
like,
I'm saying, could you live in something like that?
Yeah, I could.
Damn, I don't think I could.
I could, man. You know, I like small. It's so weird because I like small spaces. Smaller the better. Like when I grew up, I didn't even sleep on my bed. I slept in my closet. You know what I mean? I just like tight.
Yeah.
I don't like people holding me.
Yeah.
I like small spaces, so I could do that.
Yeah.
I don't know what that has to do with the train.
I didn't say anything about how big it was. I just said that the train shook it. You goddamn loaf. Oh, dude. Okay. I have a feeling that someone's been trying to convince you of this because they tagged you in a post where I was fucking raving about it, but I'm going to take a very hard left turn real quick.
Okay.
I have been recommended a show for about 2 years and have just no interest in it. I come from the country. I grew up around ranches and shit.
Oh, you know what you're talking about.
Just particularly don't care to sit down and watch, I thought what I thought was going to be some redneck fucking drama shit. Yellowstone is probably the second best show on TV right now, period. It is so fucking good. I sat down with the intention to try the pilot and just see like what it was talking about a week ago, and I'm currently caught up on the 4th season. It is fucking bonkers good.
What's the first best show?
Succession, hands down, by like light years and miles and whole continents.
I messed up, man. I started watching Succession and I was like really getting into it and I fell asleep and I woke up like 6 episodes past. I'm like, man, I don't even know how to fucking rewind it.
Yeah, that is a show where you can't miss anything.
So now I just stopped watching it.
I mean, hey man, it might be for the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, Yellowstone.
Okay, tell us all. You want to tell us more about it?
Kevin Costner, sure. So yeah, it's about Kevin Costner plays the patriarch of this extremely wealthy family in Montana. Who
I've been to Montana.
Hell yeah, Montana's a beautiful place. I don't think I've been.
You should go. Check it out.
I'm thinking about taking a trip. They own the biggest ranch in the world, the Yellowstone Ranch. It's him, his 3 sons, and his daughter. And they have this, like all these ranch hands and all these people who live there too. But the twist of it all is that they are essentially so wealthy and powerful that they're like a mob.
Gotcha.
And they run the fuck out of that state and basically, well, out of that ranch for sure, but basically the whole state. And it's all a show about power grabs and betrayals and murder. And like, holy fuck, Kevin Costner, Mr. fucking Field of Dreams and Dances with Wolves, is in this bitch dropping hard Fs and fucking slaying people like nothing. And like, but it's also got this really interesting like dichotomy and just this weird juxtaposition where like, we're like a show like Succession. Every character is terrible and they don't have redeeming qualities. The most redeeming thing you can say about any character in Succession is that this episode, they didn't fuck someone over. Okay. But in Yellowstone, there's this really interesting dichotomy of one scene, someone is brutally murdering somebody, but the next scene, they're extremely sympathetic and relatable and going through something that you can relate to. Right. That weird mesh of fucking really brutal violence and really fucking relatable family drama is so interesting to me. And it's from the guy who wrote Sicario and who wrote and directed Hell or High Water. It's so goddamn fucking good. So
Sicario.
Yeah, the drug runner movie with Benicio del Toro. And
who wrote that?
Taylor Sheridan.
Who directed Sicario?
Denis Villanueva.
Yeah, that's okay. So he directed, he didn't write it. Okay.
Yeah, he directed it. And Taylor Sheridan wrote that and then wrote and directed Hell or High Water. And made like The Wind, or what's that movie called? The Wind River and Dark Comes the Night. Dude,
how do you say his name? Villanueva?
I believe so. I believe it's Denis Villanueva.
Where's he from?
Where is Denny from?
Denny? Everybody calls him Denny?
Oh, no, dude. I was just trying. I hoping that would pop it up so I didn't have to try to spell his last name. Troy.
From the ancient city of Troy?
No, I just don't know how to pronounce these words when there's that many different accent marks on them. Troy Rivieras in Canada?
He's Canadian?
Didn't really see that coming. The top most asked question is Denny Villanueva Hispanic? And the answer is no. He's French Canadian.
I would say Villanueva is French.
When you look at him, though, he looks like a Spaniard. Does that make sense? Like, he looks like he's from Spain.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but France and Spain happen to be neighbors.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I could see why people would, especially Americans, would be like, he Mexican?
I mean, contrary to what people may believe, Spaniards are white people, like very white.
I guess what I just mean is he looks kind of olive and has like dark hair and a dark beard and dark eyes. Like it's not like blonde hair, blue eyes. He doesn't look like fucking Achilles or whatever.
Sure.
Do you think Achilles really looked like some white ass Brad Pitt motherfucker?
I don't know. He probably looked more like me. I mean, I'm pretty white though.
Okay, what shade of, like, what race were people from Macedonia?
They're Macedonian,
right? What was like olive?
I would imagine so.
Olive complexion.
Yeah.
I just don't picture him being blonde hair, blue eyes. Although I don't know, is that even true?
No,
is Troy true?
The ancient city of Troy, I have no idea.
No, I mean like the story of Achilles and shit. Is that true?
Highly doubtful.
Is that like a
highly doubtful? So, yeah, but like that's like the freaking like people that like talk about. We talked about it before, like Khabib Nurmagomedov, or people like talk about like what is he? I'm like he's white. He's from Caucasus Mountains. He's Caucasian. He's literally Caucasian. So I mean, yeah.
I don't know. It's just it's so muddled now. People just say, like, people don't break down things anyway anymore. It's just white, black, Hispanic, and whatever. But
like
okay, so
the people that ruined that started the conquests were conquistadors from Spain.
From Spain, right. But yeah, so this is interesting because like the invasion in Troy. I'm going to refer to this all through the movie because, frankly, that's the only form of, like, reference I have for this. But, so that invasion,
the Trojan horse?
Ships, yeah, is that real?
The Trojan horse?
Yeah, did that actually happen? Because this tells me right here that Achilles, no one knows if he existed or not. I
can imagine he didn't.
Right, and also, this says that he was likely a myth.
And they're like, oh, hey guys, sorry, we lost, so we made you this big present. It's a wooden horse.
Oh shit! Historians have concluded that the horse wasn't real. They've also concluded, however, that the city of Troy was real. They have also concluded, wow, what a poorly written sentence, that there was in fact a war between the Greeks and the people of Troy. However, it likely was nothing like what we're told.
Yeah, I can imagine that all that's like make believe. It's kind of like Terminator. Imagine like 1,000 years from now, if the digital world was like wiped out, and it's like they found the screenplay of the Terminator, and it's
they just find the movie and think it's a documentary.
Yeah, and they're like, wow. When they're like, then like 500 years after that, 100 years after that, excuse me, they're like, I don't think that was real.
Yeah, I don't think that happened. I feel like that didn't happen, guys.
Yeah. So yeah,
it's just.
Even as a kid, I never thought that shit was real.
Well, I gotta be honest, man. Up until right now, I thought the Trojan horse shit and Achilles and all that was real. I never really even questioned the validity of it because that Trojan horse is like burned into your brain by pop culture at a very young age. There was a Muppet Babies episode where they gave a Trojan horse to somebody. And
it's an ancient story. It's like, like Homer and the Cyclops, you know what I mean? It's like you read that, it's fantastical. There's now probably a real Cyclops or the Nephilim and all that stuff.
Right, but you're talking about a creature and I'm just talking about a wooden horse. So it feels like a lot more real to me.
Yeah, you're right. They could have been like, we gave him a horse. Yeah,
they could have, bro. They really could have. Although I don't picture them being like, I've got this monster with one eye. I have a lot of easier time believing that they gave a gift. Although this says definitively that wasn't real.
I think it's so crazy. Like when you think about like Roman gods and stuff like that, or even Greek gods, they're always like, Medusa is actually this really beautiful young goddess, and Zeus banged her out, and Aphrodite got really mad about it, so she turned her into a serpent with snake hair.
That's
like,
believable.
What the fuck?
I heard that happened to my friend Brandon.
It's like, hey, you see the foam on the water at the beach? That's Aphrodite's jizz.
I thought Aphrodite was a girl.
It is, but still, like that,
that gruel.
Like it's just like some gross. There's like always something that's like, oh, you see the trees when it runs through? That's Zeus having one.
I'm searching right now to see what else I was wrong about, and the way I did that was searching: was any history real?
Yeah.
But here's the fucking thing: if you look at like, so the obvious beginning of this sentence would be like, look at religious texts. But if we just want to avoid that fucking bag of worms and say, taking all religious texts out, if you go back and look at like any fucking like record of history, a lot of it's fucking crazy. Like a lot of it has shit in it where like you think, oh well, that was a long time ago, maybe shit like that happened. But then, like, now that I'm older, I'm like, man, I bet a bunch of that shit didn't happen. Like, did full cities ever just burn to the ground?
Yeah, for sure. Why wouldn't it?
Like, I don't know. It just seems crazy to me.
Well,
like, I mean, what about dinosaurs? There's fucking history that shows that, like, there's these crazy histories where, like, if you did the math on them, people would have just been coexisting with dinosaurs, and we know that wasn't right. So where does history become true? The New Testament?
Well, it's kind of like that's like kind of like I mean, even taking it a little bit more modern history, the city of Atlanta that exists now is not the original Atlanta.
Are you suggesting that the original city of Atlanta is underwater right now?
No, that's Atlantis.
No, I know, but
No, the original city was burned to the ground in the Civil War, and they had to rebuild it where it is now.
Oh yeah, that's in Gone with the Wind.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, like, that's true. And 1,000 years from now, 2,000 years from now, it will still be true. You know what I mean?
No. Okay, so I guess I'm saying before, like, before everything before the
Jesus.
everything before like
Abraham.
No, like like the discovery of the Americas and all that shit. Everything from before that seems absolutely nonsensical to me. Like, it becomes a lot more believable when it's just like these white dudes went out in ships and took land. But everything before that's like, this fucking angel was fighting this god and they turned the city into gold. And then this dude Midas came in and everything was chocolate. And then, like, by the end of it, there were dinosaurs and we all coexisted and people were born from eggs and this and that. And like, none of it makes sense to me. And like, also evolution totally makes sense to me. But then you do the math on that and you're like, well, shit, are the monkeys the ones that got fucked in this equation? Like, how did the monkeys end up still coming out monkeys if some of us were coming out people?
Yeah,
and do they resent us for that? And one day are we going to have monkey overlords that are like, hey, motherfuckers, left in the dust, y'all learn how to read and write and you got us over here pointing at pictures of apples?
Yeah, it's Planet of the Apes. That's a movie.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that seems as believable to me as like, I built this big wooden horse, man.
Well, it's like carbon dating. Like, I mean, I'd take everybody's word for it that it works or whatever, but they show you carbon dating. It's like, oh, this rock's 1 million years old. It's like, how do you know? It's like, because of these lines.
Yeah, carbon dating is weird because they've used carbon dating to prove that they found that the Shroud of Turin. I don't know if you know what that is, but
Joel, I know what that is.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, I mean, I don't know if a lot of our listeners were the Shroud of Turin is a cloth that was found that they believe was placed on the face of Jesus after he was crucified, when he was buried. It left an outline of what appears to be a crown of thorns in a person's face. But carbon dating is what makes them believe that. What is carbon dating?
Yeah, so here's the thing. And the results, it's like, so these lines are the carbon dates, essentially. Oh, so the more there is, the older it is? Like, no, the less there is, the older it is. It's like, so what, there's nothing on there? It's like, then we just know it's really, really, really old. I'm like, well, that's not efficient.
Yeah.
So and it's just like, I don't know. And like, granted, I'm seriously sitting here talking to you through the power of the internet, and I have no idea how it works.
Right. We are literally in a scene from a movie that would have come out in the 80s about the future right now, where you want to talk to somebody, so you just pull up their picture and you have a conversation with them.
And I am the last person on this planet to question the relevancy and how real carbon dating is, or how true the timeline of evolution truly is. You know what I mean?
Well, sure. I just have problems with the math these days. Like,
Joel, I can't even tell you what 36 times 2 is.
No. I mean, like big math where you don't even have to add it up to know something's off. You know what I mean? Where some people say hundreds of thousands, but other people say hundreds of millions. That's where you don't even have to worry about it. You just know something's wrong. But I'll tell you why all this is on my mind. I tried to call you about this the other day, but then I thought you might be working, and I was like, I don't want to fucking, because it's like a lot of science shit. But, we both love the movie The Thing, and during COVID, I started going through a phase of wanting to learn a lot about like Antarctica and Alaska and shit like that. And I was watching a lot of shit. We talked about it, about people going and living in Antarctica and trying to fucking do science and shit out there. But
yeah, they're doing it.
They're doing science, bro. Well, this video popped in my feed a couple of days ago, and I was like, oh shit, some Antarctica shit. This hasn't happened in a while. So I clicked on it, and it was about a building in Colorado, okay, where it's the coldest building in the world. You have to wear like the craziest shit to go into it. Okay. And what it is it's a warehouse that houses ice samples from hundreds of millions of years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. So in this building, they've got ice from possibly before recorded dinosaur shit.
Yeah.
How the fuck? And then they were saying that some of the ice was like prehistoric.
Because it's core samples.
Well, who's on the Earth then, though? What was on the Earth?
Water.
Prehistoric. What was here? Water. No living. Was there just no living anything? Just like plants and shit?
Single cell organisms, I would imagine, that evolved into what we are today.
Man, the world is fucking nuts, dude. The planets and shit. Science, motherfucker. It's so crazy.
The sample is the lower you go, the older it is.
Right. That's what they were saying. So, like, some of the ice is like real fucking old, man.
My whole thing is, how fucking deep did you go? How you know what I mean? It's like, that's what I'm curious about. It's like, what? And everybody knows that and also like what happens when you get past 500 miles and then you're like, there's nothing and you're into hollow earth, you know what I mean? It's like, so what then? And
what happens when you finally think you found a new, like, I can go deeper. Wow. So you punch it and you come out on the other side.
Yeah. And you're in Russia. It's like,
the earth just has a straw poked through.
Like Kerplunk.
You got to be careful where you walk. You could fall into Russia. Damn. Just don't. The earth is fucking weird, dude. Because last week, you and Amanda were talking about, I don't know why I said her name like that.
Amanda?
I said Amanda. You and Amanda were talking last week about the earthquake that happened in the center of the earth, 467 miles into the earth. And
167. See, they wouldn't say 500 or deeper.
Yeah, the earth is fucking crazy. And then on the right side of my screen here, I've got a headline, why I think Adam was a real person. What is the historical evidence that Jesus Christ lived and died? Mary Magdalene's true history. Did Jesus really exist? The first Thanksgiving, the real story. Like, you could click on any of these and they're all going to contradict each other.
Yeah.
We don't know shit about the planets, man.
No, dude. There's like, I mean, yeah, there's so much is either hidden or just simply lost.
Or misunderstood. I truly believe that we've probably, dude, all it would take, to quote Bugs Bunny, is one wrong turn back in Albuquerque, right? So like, let's say 1,000 years ago, they got something totally wrong, but they were super confident in it and it carried on. And all these other theories and all these other hypotheses were based on this other thing being true that in fact wasn't true. How fucking far back would you have to go to unravel and figure it out? I mean, clearly we've figured out a lot of shit. We understand DNA now, which is like, you know what I mean?
Like a god. Like, it's like playing God now, knowing how to do that.
Dude, I saw
like anesthesia. They didn't even know how. They've been using it for over 100 years now. They just now in the past like 10 years realized how it truly works.
And they've just been putting people under with it.
Yeah. They're like, we just don't put people out. Now they're like, now they have like, I actually know how it works.
It's so weird to me. Like, it's so weird to me, the things we put our faith in. Like our blind faith, not talking about like religion and shit, but just your everyday blind faith. Like, I trust that
this person next to me is not going to go over this line and kill me.
Right. And then I trust at the grocery store that the temperature inside the meat case is correct. It's like so many fucking things we put our trust in. And then when you really parse out people and you parse out history, man, it's mostly bullshit. So like, oh man, we're a trusting fucking species.
Yeah, dude, like seriously, like everybody like and we're so dependent on that idea too. Like even like everything just us, the repercussions of us being shut down for a whole year are really showing through. It's like you go to the store and you're like, what do you mean Velveeta? Guess how much Velveeta is right now? A block of Velveeta.
Like $8.
$8 fucking dollars.
Yeah.
It's like, what? It's like, well, oh, that's right. We're out of everything.
Yeah.
The
supply chain, baby.
The glass shortage. Have you heard about this?
No.
So fucking crazy. Mexican Cokes, you know how they've been, haven't been able to get those for a long time?
I haven't noticed.
Liquor has been out, like liquor's made and they can put it and it's good to go. They have all this liquor. They just have no glass. Internationally, there is a glass shortage. We're talking about things that we take for granted every single day that we're supposed to recycle every single day that obviously we don't, or, you know, not do.
I mean, there's some shit out there that I've seen in the past few years kind of hints that recycling is sort of a scam.
Oh, it is.
And
but
sort
like
of bullshit.
Yeah. And so, but with that said, it's like, dude, like even now it's like affecting, like I'm using this as an example because I work in this market. And like, so like when I place orders and stuff, like these giant orders, I'm like, what the fuck? What about little old us? We deserve our booze. And like, no, it's not you. It's everyone. Like we don't have anything to put into. It's like glass, like the things you never even consider glass. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like when you're, and so, but now it's like kind of this blind faith. But I don't have to consider that because I have blind faith that it will be there because it has been there every single day of my life, and now there isn't. You know what I mean?
The supply chain thing's been really interesting to me because I think I've shown you this before. When I first moved back and I was making everybody watch all those documentaries, pretty sure I showed you this one. There was a documentary like 10 years ago, where a dude who was a retired LAPD officer and ex-CIA. The whole documentary is just him smoking cigarettes, sitting in a chair in a room, talking to the camera. Okay. And he's explaining what he believed. The documentary is called Collapse. And he was explaining what he believed was going to happen when we ran out of oil, that we were reaching something he called peak oil. And that when we hit that point, the manufacturing of oil, like we would be running out of oil at an exponential pace for the rest of time until we couldn't sustain ourselves anymore. And obviously that's kind of been disproven at this point. But 10 years ago, it was pretty freaky to watch it and to think, because the dude was a pretty brilliant guy. He just, I think, he was wrong in this case, but like, it's the same exact thing though, with the supply chain right now. It's not oil. So obviously it's not quite as fucking bad where we're worrying about like oil makes everything. The oil isn't everything, but like, yeah, like glass, clothing.
Yeah.
There's fucking I've heard there's a shortage of water, of clean water, which,
well, that's always been a thing. Like
but I mean, apparently there's cities in America that are like running out of clean water.
Well, I mean, it's crazy, dude. Like we flush our toilets. Think about that. Flushing toilets.
What should we do? Like, I mean, honestly, like, should we just all pee and shit outside? I mean, is that honestly the right thing to do? Is that nature?
Like compostable toilets are a thing now. That's what they use in national parks, and they don't smell bad, and they're not that hard to use.
What is that? Like a cardboard toilet?
Yeah, but it's just I'm serious. It's like we flush toilets and brush our teeth. It's so crazy the things that we take for granted.
Our showers. I mean, it's all very strange, right? Like we have to have done some severe. I mean, like, dude, this is a good episode. I like the science bent.
Like water treatment. I don't even know how that works. It's like the water that goes down our sinks. Is it the same? It obviously all goes to sewage. Are we re-drinking that water? Is that water specifically pumped into like why? Like, could you have an own? Is there like a creation that you can recycle your own water at your own house so you can like?
It might be illegal. Like when they arrested that dude for growing tomatoes. Like so many weird things are designed to like make sure we can't do stuff like that, which is, that's a whole nother bag of worms. But that's the second time I said bag of worms. I mean, can of worms. National Geographic, August 12th, 2020. huge fucking very fancy looking article. Why is America running out of water? National Geographic a year ago. Why is America running out of water? Decreasing precipitation and rising populations could bring a perfect storm of water shortages for the United States. Where is our water going?
Down the drain, literally. Literally down the drain. That's where
this is so crazy to me because it kind of brings back to like water treatment and us not understanding how that works. But like, I stop and I go, well, shit, man, it rains and floods like every day now because of climate change. Couldn't you just take that water and fucking clean it up? You know what I mean? Like, I just don't get any of this anymore.
And also, like, yeah, and like they're like the reason we can't desalinate ocean water is because it's too expensive. It's like, well, what? It's like if we need it, it should be at no expense. You know what I mean?
But what happens if they do start? See, that's another thing. Like, what if they figure out how to do that, or they figure out a cheap way to do that, and then they suck all the water out of the ocean? They would do that. They would fucking do that because they just simply don't care. I was looking into Nestle the other day, and good Lord, that's a rabbit hole that just never fucking ends. They own everything in developing countries and make sure that people don't. Dude, there was, I can't remember what country it was now, but Nestle was straight up, flat out telling new mothers in a poor country not to breastfeed their children. And they were supplying the country with crates of Nestle baby formula to get the kids addicted to Nestle baby formula immediately.
Dude, I heard that Nestle was actually had these like this proprietary machine of filtration. So there's like, and apparently they created global warming because they want people to not realize that they're actually up there chipping away the ice from the ice caps and melting it themselves to put into bottles of water to sell to us.
I don't even know, bro. That sounds crazy and believable.
I'm just kidding. I never heard that before.
But do you understand how believable that sounds?
Yeah, it sounds
what you just did was create misinformation and put it out in the world. And like,
that's why
if you made it up. No, right. But I'm saying if you hadn't clarified that, even I, who know you and who has been questioning everything this whole time, was like, that sounds very nefarious and evil, kind of like everything else I just heard they did.
Yeah. And like Nestle is like
easy to do.
It's so weird because like Nestle is I've always associated it with like Crunch bars.
Yeah, we all do in America, right? I think that might be by design.
Yeah, I remember the first time I was like, Nestle has water?
Yeah. Do you really? Like it kind of makes you think that might be by design. Like we are
yeah, go ahead.
We are the country of people who would raise a stink about things that they're doing normally. But
and like
when we hear Nestle though, we go Hershey's Kisses.
Yeah.
Crunch bars. Our brain doesn't go evil corporation.
You go, ooh, candy.
Right. Maybe that's by design because you know as well as I do that in other countries, Nestle's not the motherfucker pumping out the chocolate. It's fucking Cadbury.
Yeah, Mr. Nestle. So I've heard that you're like really fucking up the world and everything. It's like, oh, here, try our new white chocolate crunch supreme bar. Be like, all right, thank you.
Wait, did I just fuck up? And does Nestle own Hershey?
I don't know. But also, reminds me of that movie, The Lorax, which I watched the other day with Amanda and Link for the first time.
That's a fucking really politically charged kids movie. I loved it, but like I could see that one pissing off some right wingers.
Oh yeah, like the canned air. He's like, oh, he found out a way to sell air. It's like, oh, that makes sense.
We met the Lorax at Universal Studios last month. We were fucking walking. You're like, ah!
Is that Danny DeVito?
Yeah.
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 They're like, man, we need a short little Italian guy.
No, they didn't. It's a fucking cartoon. It could have been The Rock doing the voice. It doesn't need to be a short Italian guy.
No, they're like, no, we need somebody that looks like the Lorax in real life.
Find me the Lorax. They're just like, I got Danny DeVito. Dude, fuck yeah, Danny DeVito. What a goddamn champion. What a good guy.
Have you met him?
No, I don't need to meet him though. Did you know when he fucking when he was shooting Matilda? Because I don't know. You know he directed Matilda, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So like when he was making Matilda, Mara Wilson, who played Matilda, her mom was dying of cancer the whole time they were filming.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
So Danny DeVito let her live with him and Rhea Perlman, and she treated her like a kid while they were filming the movie, so she didn't have to worry about all that stuff. Fucking just became a father for her the whole time, and it's so funny. Like it's shit like that. Like, dude, Danny DeVito, what a guy, dude. What a fucking dude. The dude was in Twins. You know?
Yeah. He's dude, actually
he had hair in that movie, kind of.
An underrated film that you never hear about that he kicked ass in, Hoffa.
I've never seen that.
Dude,
I know I can picture the VHS cover, but I've never seen that.
Dude, he kicks ass in that movie, dude, and he's like young. It's weird.
Danny DeVito, like, I think, okay, because I'm about to blow your mind with something, okay? Dude, Steve Martin is like our age in Father of the Bride.
Damn.
What the fuck? But he had gray hair, so it fucking plays so differently when you watch it because he's got the gray hair. He's fucking... Somebody was saying that Paul Rudd in the Ghostbusters movie now...
It comes out tomorrow.
Right. Is older than Steve Martin was in Father of the Bride 2.
Damn. You know that Steve Martin was born in Waco?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah.
But I say all that to say that I feel like Danny DeVito had that same gene issue that Steve Martin does, where you just think he's so much fucking older than he is.
Yeah, like Danny DeVito was old when he was 20.
Yeah, dude, he's not that old in Batman Returns. He's in his like 40s in Batman Returns and looks like he's 100.
Yeah. Batman Returns, dude. Do you think that the new Batman's going to be good, or you think it's going to be one of those things like Paul Dano's Riddler's like the only good part of it?
I literally cannot fucking wait. I can't. I don't want to. I don't want to sound like a fucking DC fanboy at all because I've hated almost every movie they've come out with. But I am totally fucking jazzed for that. I
had no idea I was going to be so. I mean, I was kind of, like when it comes to movies, especially, like you're like, man, they're remaking the Batman again. It's like, okay, I guess the last of the trilogy that Nolan did came out 15 years ago.
2012.
Okay, well, the original
9 years ago, but
Batman Begins came about
almost 20 years ago.
Oh yeah, so I was like, okay, I get it. There's a new generation to pick it up from, and
you have to anyway, because people said the same thing when the Nolans came out. Does the Keatons and the Clooney's and
it's like yeah, okay. So I mean, I get it. I mean, for the sake of movie, and also it seems like they're really just finally pulled the ticket. It's like Batman. If we're gonna keep doing this and rebooting it, we're going to have to make it darker and darker and darker.
Well, this is a known hard R. It's not a possibility. It is a hard R. It's going to be the same idea as Joker, where here's the thing. This will be an interesting experiment.
It's in 2022 or 2023. When is it coming out?
2022.
Okay.
So it's done. It's finished. People have seen it.
Cool.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out at the beginning of this year.
Sure.
So it got pushed back a full year
for theaters to reopen and stuff.
Yeah, well, and because Robert Pattinson got COVID during filming, and they shut down production completely, indefinitely while anyway. Yeah, I believe it's a known hard R, which is really interesting experiment because they've had an R-rated animated Batman movie, but that was direct to DVD. They had an R-rated cut of Batman vs Superman, but that wasn't until it hit DVD. And then they have the R-rated Justice League, but again, that never went to theaters. That was just on HBO Max. So can you put a movie called Batman in the theaters and have it be rated R? Yes. I don't know. Dude, Batman Returns almost destroyed the franchise's ability to have toys, because even that movie was so fucking dark that parents sued McDonald's and Burger King and all these other places that pumped out toys and shit for it because it was so much darker than the first one. And they took their kids and was like, what?
Where are the parents now? Well,
I don't know if I'd want my kid to go to an R-rated Batman movie where he's slaughtering people at like 6 years old.
Saying you're not going to be suing McDonald's.
No, not at all. But I'm curious if this can work. Joker worked because like I can tell my kid this is a movie about Joker. I know you love Joker, but this Joker is way too scary. It's for older kids. But how do you tell somebody this Batman is not for you?
Yeah, and I get that is a good point. But with that said, I am so excited for it and my main reasoning is because Paul Dano is one of my favorite actors. Dude, I think that's incredible, and just him being the Riddler, I just can't wait to see it, dude.
Dude, and Jeffrey Wright as fucking Commissioner Gordon. I don't know if
that's cool,
dude. He was the hands down best part of Westworld. Like, I'm so fucking jazzed to see him in something right now. And like Robert Pattinson, I'm such a fucking fan of his now. So like, cool, bring it on, man. I'm not super into the way he sounds in the trailer where he's like, "What have you done?"
It's never been like, dude, I don't know. The whole Batman thing, the villains in Batman are always, to me, the best part.
100%.
I really don't care about Batman. You know what I mean?
He's kind of a cringe lord in my mind. I love when he fucks people up, but every time he talks, I'm like, bro, shut up.
It would be tight if they actually made a Batman where you don't see his mouth, and then it was like a freaking automation that made his voice sound fucked up. I could get behind that, but he's just like, the mouth. It's like all they have to do is shoot him in the mouth.
Well, so there's a clip. That's interesting you say that, because there's a clip in the trailer where he's in a dark room and you can only see when a flash of a gun comes up, and he's just fucking everyone up, walking down the hall while they all shoot at him, and it's not affecting him at all. And in that moment, I was like, holy shit, that's like a horror movie. It's like Jason walking down a fucking field. And it got me thinking, there is a fucking very hard, very horrific Batman horror movie out there to be made if you take away all aspects of him being a human at all and just have this fucking beast that's dressed like a bat that fucking kills without, but I mean, then you got to change the Batman lore. But yeah, that makes it really interesting. Pivot real quick though, while we're on superhero movies.
All they gotta do is cover his mouth. That's all they gotta do.
Right, I agree. I think that you nailed it with that. We would be super remiss not to bring up the Spider-Man trailer that dropped yesterday. I genuinely could not care less about any Marvel movie, but I am so into this. And I think, do you know why?
No.
Okay. We can say all this openly because it's so fucking out there now that it would be foolish if it's not true. We all believe that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are in this movie.
Okay.
And that it's all three Spider-Mans and all the villains from every movie.
Tight.
We got the trailer yesterday. The movie comes out in a month. They're done with trailers. There's no more reveals to be had, okay? We got the trailer yesterday. They literally premiered it at movie theaters for free. You could go and watch it at a theater if you wanted to.
The trailer?
Yeah, so we all assumed that this trailer was going to end with the reveal that all the Spider-Mans are in it. And dude, that would make this the biggest movie of all time. Because everyone loves the Tobey movies, even me.
Yeah.
So the trailer came out. They revealed every villain. So Willem Dafoe is Green Goblin, Alfred Molina is Doc Ock, Sandman, Thomas Hayden Church, Jamie Foxx is Electro from the Andrew Garfield ones, the Lizard from the Andrew Garfield ones is in it. So they're showing us we're getting the Sinister Six, but there's only 5 villains. So where's the 6th? I'm assuming it's either fucking Morbius, the Jared Leto Morbius movie that's about to come out, or fucking Venom.
Yeah.
Okay. Or the Tom Hardy Venom, because huge spoiler alert. Pause. The new Venom movie ends with revealing that Tom Hardy is sucked into the MCU universe and he sees Tom Holland Spider-Man on TV.
Huh.
Right. So in the trailer, we see all those, but you never see Andrew or Tobey. It never even fucking hints that they're in it. And I was like, wow, they dropped the ball. But it got me thinking, no, we know for sure they're in it because I've seen set photos that somebody leaked where it shows all 3 of them and this and this and that. And then this morning I woke up and someone has found that in the trailer, there's a shot with all the villains lunging forward. Okay. And it's in slow. If you slow it down, you can see that the Lizard gets punched, but there's nobody there. So they edited out whoever punches him in that scene. So that this movie definitely has all of them in it. And that reveal is going to be insane. And I got thinking, what could make it even crazier? Like, how would you top bringing them all in? What if they bring in Miles and he's the animated Miles from Spider-Verse? That would be fucking nasty, dude. That would be
fucking ruin everybody's world, I guess. What the fuck?
That would be so sick, dude. I just can't fucking wait. This is the first time I've been excited for a superhero movie, like not a DC one that's meant for adults in so fucking long. Like, I have not cared about a Marvel movie since probably Iron Man 2.
Isn't that a Christmas movie?
No, that's 3. That was the first Marvel movie that came out when I moved here. And we were all so amped for it because the trailer was nasty. It made it seem like it was going to be like Dark Knight level good. And then it ended up being probably one of the worst. I hate that movie, dude.
Yeah, dude. Seriously, whenever I try to do the MCU, like I get to Iron Man 3 and I can't get past it. So I get stuck there.
For me, it all comes down to how mismarketed Iron Man 2 was, because it was coming directly on the heels of Dark Knight. It came out in 2009, Dark Knight's 2008, okay? All we wanted at that moment was another villain that could capture that feel that we had just gotten. They knew that, and the trailer for Iron Man 2 is all built around this sick monologue that Mickey Rourke is Whiplash or whatever is giving. He's in the movie for like 5 fucking minutes, and it's so lame.
Yeah. He like fucks
and then
up.
They did it again. They did it again with 3. They made it out to be that the Mandarin was the bad guy, that he was this crazy, scary. It was Ben Kingsley. And then they reveal that he's just this drunk idiot and that it's this other dude pulling the strings. Man, what a ball dropper.
Yeah, man, I'm pretty excited about everything that's coming out. And that's so weird that we're talking about this because, man, this kid, he has been telling me for weeks now about the new Spider-Man movie coming out. And I'm like,
dude.
No new Spider-Man movie coming out. I'm like, are you talking about Miles Morales? It's like, you've seen that. You talking about Venom? It's like, no, the new Spider-Man movie. And there is one.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
Yeah, dude,
so
no Way Home.
No Way Home. So the first one's called Homecoming, and the other one's called No Way Home. I thought everybody would. Is this
the third one, bro?
I don't know.
One. You're skipping one. It was Homecoming, Far From Home, now No Way Home. I
thought that they all died in the last Avengers.
Okay, so spoiler alert for Infinity War and Endgame. At the end of Infinity War, Peter Parker does die, but they get brought back. Like some of them get brought back. And he's one that comes back, and then Tony dies.
Well, fuck, ruin it for me.
No, it's just a reverse. So he dies at the end of it, and he tells Tony, like, Tony, I'm scared. And then he disappears and dies. Okay. And then the second one, Tony basically trades him the favor.
And then Goku flies in, and he's like, I got all these fucking Dragon Balls, and I can't remember what I wanted to wish for. What do you want to wish for?
Except it's not cartoon Goku. It's not cartoon Goku. It's the Goku with the kids from Weeds.
Or no, it's the Goku. It's the Goku. It's the Goku from that shitty movie they made, Evolution.
That's what I'm talking about. It's a kid from Weeds when he played Goku.
Okay, so he flies in. He's like, man, I just cannot remember what my wish was.
I live in America.
It's like, yeah, you know what? Can we borrow? Do you want to use this wish? Can we wish for all our friends back? And he's like, sure. And like when the dragon's coming up, Goku says the wish. I'm going to wish for all their friends back. He's like, wait a minute. I was supposed to wish for all my friends back. Got to find all these Dragon Balls again.
That's weird that you say that, though, because the plot of the Spider-Man movie is that at the end of the last Spider-Man movie, everyone found out who Peter Parker was. So everyone knows that he's Spider-Man. Okay. Right. But so at the end of the last one, he made a wish to Doctor Strange for nobody to know who Peter Parker, or for nobody to know who Spider-Man was. And so this movie, in the trailer, Doctor Strange is telling him, like, you wish for everyone to not know who you are, like, you might have fucked up. And so that broke all the fucking universes or something, I guess. I don't really fucking know. But yeah, that's interesting because it is all built around this weird like multiverse thing. I don't fucking know.
So the MCU was just a direct ripoff of Dragon Ball Z. Is that what we're coming to?
Yep.
Well, that said, thanks for watching another episode of IDSIBIBY I Believe You. I'm Doug.
I'm Joel. And please click up here to watch last week's video.
And here to subscribe and go and listen to us on all places podcasts are available.
And if you're on YouTube, please like and slap that subscribe button.
Yes, thank you.